So, Vishu, today we are going to move on to Sutra number 20, where we understand all about the path to reaching the highest level of consciousness or asampragya samadhi. So, in the previous sutras, we understood what this concept means, and now we're going to get into the path and the various steps we can take to reach this level of consciousness, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Right.
great. So, if we can just start this journey and understand what is Sutra number 20, what is the name, and the exact meaning of it.
Yeah. So, as we are having this journey with Patanjali, which is talking about asampragyat samadhi. So, previous sutra we understood that asampragyat samadhi, people take birth, even they are merged with existence and they're disembodied.
Yes.
Means they are living without a single body identity as a body.
Yes.
Here we see in 20th sutra how this samadhi is proceeded. So, sutra says in Sanskrit, Shraddha Virya Smriti Samadhi Pragya Purvek Itresham. So there are words Shraddha, which means trust, Virya means courage, or you can say confidence. Smriti means memory.
Yes.
Samadhi Pragya means intelligence coming from Samadhi.
Right.
The intelligence which is derived from Sampragyat Samadhi. So we are using these things or intelligence through intelligence which is coming from Sampragyat Samadhi.
And Sampragya Samadhi is the beginning of your spiritual process, the beginning of Samadhi.
Exactly. Beginning of Samadhi means a state of Samadhi where still there is a center of I am.
Yes.
Exists there.
Right.
I amness is still there.
Yes.
So this I amness is still there. So Sutra is saying through trust, you develop a confidence. That confidence you use to know your memory which is your past.
Yes.
And by this all, you develop intelligence from Sampragyat Samadhi. Through this all, Sampragyat Samadhi intelligence is there.
Yes.
And by having this intelligence, you reach to a state of Asampragyat Samadhi.
Right.
Itresham means for others. For others, this is a path.
What do you mean by for others? Why is this for others term?
Yeah, for others, because it's also talked about previous sutra, people those are disembodied and merged with nature.
So is the concept that such people who are disembodied and merged with nature, they are born already in that state?
Exactly. This is why the previous sutra, we were talking about bhav pratyaya, means those take birth because of this.
Yes.
So for others, those are not.
Everybody else who's not born already in that state, this is the path.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. Quite right.
All right.
Those are not born with it.
Yes. So somebody who was born into this state, as we saw in the previous sutra, what does it mean? What is that person's nature like? How can you even know if you are such a person?
Yes.
Or somebody you've met such a person? How would you even know that?
Okay, it's difficult, but I can tell you some sign are there. There is an aura of everybody. In everybody aura, in human aura, you can see a sense of selfishness, self-fulfillment sense is there. Everybody's aura.
Yes.
Like in our actions, in our way of talking, we all have a sense of selfishness.
Yes.
But people, those are born with Asampragyat Samadhi, they have absolute no sense of selfishness, no fulfillment inside.
Wow.
They are not selfish. They are not into this. They are not living a way to fulfill themselves.
Right.
So there is no self-image. You can see a person who is completely free from any image from the childhood and having a different intelligence, means different than others. Because others' consciousness is involved with fulfillment, with how I become something, how I get that, how I get this. But that consciousness, people never have anything to become or to get or achieve. They never talk about, they never found is struggling with that.
Wow. So they may still continue normal life as everybody in school or in jobs, but they don't have any motives that way to do what they are doing. They just want to live.
But one thing is that they might look very contradictory, because they will go to school, they will not be agree with the pattern of the school if it's not there. So
Right.
some things will be there, differences will be there. Like opposition will be there. It's not they are opposing it, they are hating it, but their nature is full of truth, and society nature is not having truth. So
Yes.
not having truth, there will not be a the harmony with it.
Yes.
They will be in harmony with everything, but others will find difficulty to have harmony with them,
Yes.
because others are sleeping, one is awake.
Right.
So if awake person comes close to the who's sleeping and makes somebody awake, people usually don't like it.
Yes.
When somebody come out of sleep,
Yes.
somebody makes somebody awake, people don't like it.
Yes.
There is a confidence in our life. We have a confidence of doing something. Doesn't matter what we are doing. We are having a relationship. We are running a business. So there is a confidence which is developed through a trust. We have a trust on ourselves. We have a trust on our partner, on somebody. So that trust gives us confidence. This is something, again, a very psychological things comes out from the sutra.
Right.
Sutra saying one has to do a journey with trust. But trust to whom?
Trust meaning in God?
You can say a God, trust in God. So most of the books translate it as a faith. But faith sometimes is blind.
Yes.
Perhaps most of the times faith is blind, that we don't know what is there, we don't have any evidence, we don't have any logic, and yet we trust.
Yes.
Yet we have faith. Right? We don't know anything about God, but still we have faith. Yes. This is, I think it's not a way of Patanjali. Patanjali says Shraddha. Shraddha means which is coming from your own. You know about it, that's why you're trusting it. Through trust, one will develop a confidence. Confidence of what? Confidence of knowing your past. Because humans do not have quality of knowing their past. Oh. They don't dare to look at their past. They don't go into there. If you will let one person investigate what happened with you, just find out, it will be a very challenging process.
Right.
Very challenging. If I say, okay, write down from your about your last 10 years, what situations, rewards and punishment you've gone through, pain you've gone through, it will be challenging process.
Yes, definitely.
To go and take this challenge, one has to have a courage. And that courage is developed through confidence. So here, a space comes of a guru.
Yes.
A mentor who is guiding you, who is showing you a direction. The word guru actually means one who destroys the darkness from your life.
Right.
The meaning of the word guru.
Yes.
The one who destroys the darkness of your life. Yes. So if I have a guru, I have to have trust on the guru.
Yes.
Not a blind trust, because I know guru's action. I see the guru's result, how it results when I talk to guru, when I just solve a problem with him. So I have a trust on guru. Through this trust, I will have a courage, and through this courage, I will be able to face my past.
Yes.
Which is very important.
Right.
Facing my past is having smriti, memory. Most of the times we are not very truthful with our memory.
Yes, and we've covered this in a previous sutra as well. The difference.
We covered it as well, smriti.
Memories and false memories.
Exactly. So we saw that how we are not very truthful. When we go to our past, we only remember a time when we were having good time only. Like everybody says, my childhood was very good.
Right.
So people only remember a time of childhood when they were very happy, joyful, playing. They don't remember a time when they have to do homework of the school.
Right.
When they have to face a strict teacher.
Yes.
Or there were problems were there as well. Like when I went to my college, all the students were talking our school life was very good. When we finished the college, they were saying our college life was very good.
Yes.
And when they are saying it was very good, they're just remembering it was completely good. There was no tension problem at all.
Yes.
So they are not having courage to see the memory as it is.
Right.
But it's very important for every human being to know their past, like what happened with me, what was the situations in my past, the conditioning, because what I am today is a result of my past.
Absolutely.
How angry I am, how sad I am, how intelligent I am, how fearful I am. It's all result of my past.
So why do we do that? Why do we tend to remember the past only in a positive sense and not recall the reality of it? Why does this happen?
This is happening because we are carrying an element of ignorance inside of us. And because of this ignorance, we live a life mechanically.
Yes.
So living a life mechanically is more easier
Yes.
for the brain, for a conditioned mind. Because if we will not live mechanically, the conditioning, the mechanicalness of the brain will come to an end.
Yes.
It will stop. We will live a life with awareness. So this brain is following this mechanical path, which is so conditioned mechanically. So if we will go into it, if we will see everything, how it happened, for an example, two children are fighting for a toy or something. So what, as an adult, as a being, like I'm not a child, I'm mature, as being a mature, what is my responsibility? I go to children, I tell them, don't fight because it is this, this is that. Because I know the reality. They are not finding reality, they are fighting.
Right.
So I make them understand. I solve the conflict.
Yes.
If I'm mature.
Yes.
Similarly, in our past, we were not as mature as we are now.
Right.
So when I go to my childhood, for an example, in my childhood, I am frightened by an uncle who took my chocolate, shown me big eyes.
Right.
I was afraid.
Yes.
I received this fear or anger in my childhood. And this anger become a conditioning of my life.
Right.
If I go to my past, I look at the whole scene, I feel that what was happening at that time in my body, in my belly, in my heart. If I feel that completely, totally, and then I make my inner child understood, which is still I'm carrying, that it was past. You are a child. It's gone. You don't need to carry it. And then I release the tension that I'm still carrying inside.
Yes.
This is how I become free from my conditionings. But to become free from this conditioning, I have to have a great memory.
Yes.
Great quality of memory, which is pure, which is not political, which is not saying this was good, this was not good.
Right.
Right. So I need to have a memory which is very clean, very clear.
Yes.
So to get that memory, you require a courage, and this courage will come by a trust. So this trust could be a process that you are following, that your studies, or your guru, your mentor, or your what we call your God, could be Buddha, could be your God, friend, or anybody. So having trust leads to courage. Courage leads to having you right memory. Through this right memory, you will find out what is my past. And by going into your past deeply, looking at it as it is, you understand your nature. Okay, this is my nature, how I react in this condition because of this happened in my past. I am conditioned to react to this.
Yes.
So I become free from this conditioning. Yes. Through this process, intelligence is arising. Through trust, courage, memory, and intelligence arise from the samadhi. Yes. Through this samadhi, the intelligence that I have, I reach to a state called asampragyat samadhi. This is a path, Patanjali said. In this, Patanjali is mentioning that knowing your past is very, very important. Because what we are today, how we react with our friends, with our family, with our jobs, with our actions, our day-to-day activity, it's all a result of our past.
Right.
We are so conditioned by it. And breaking down all the conditioning, breaking down all the conditions that we gathered from the past and living a life without any condition, is spirituality, is yoga. Wow. It's reaching to a state of asampragyat samadhi.
And so clearly this process, what you're describing is it's a very difficult process, and even in modern day psychology there are so many methods that are used to kind of, you know, some regression therapies, right, that take you back to your childhood and do exactly what you've described, exactly what Patanjali talks about thousands of years ago is what happens today as well, where you regress in your memories to your childhood to heal certain things. But it's a very painful process, isn't it? I suppose that this is why, like you said earlier, people would rather live mechanically so that they avoid tapping into those memories, into those painful memories and reliving them, because they're afraid of that pain. But the reality is, once you relive it, it's only at that point you can release it. Without reliving it, you cannot release that.
You cannot release it. Yes, until you will not face your fear, your anger, your jealousy. Facing means knowing the root cause of it,
Yes.
which is lying somewhere in our past.
Yes.
Until you don't know it, you will not become free from it.
Yes. But it's definitely a very painful process to get there.
It is. In the process of releasing, you have to go through it.
Yes.
So the path of spirituality is not easy.
Right.
That's why Patanjali said it requires courage.
Yes.
To face that. Courage, which is a confidence, which is a will.
Yes.
Virya in the sutra. Through this virya, you can face this, your memory. You can know your memory.
Yes.
And this trust, this courage will be developed only through trust.
Right.
Through a right faith, not a blind faith, but a right faith, which is a trust.
And that's why the right kind of guru, the right kind of teacher is very important to help you to develop that trust.
Exactly.
We're getting a clearer and clearer picture of this path, basically, to reaching our highest level of consciousness, which again is something that's accessible to anybody. Anybody can achieve this, whether you are born this way or not. It doesn't matter. It's
Exactly.
just a question of a process. And that's what we are on a journey learning with Patanjali. Can we just quickly recap? Because I think the last few sutras, starting from 16 or 17 up to today's, which is 20, they are all really linked with the same concepts of samadhi and reaching there. So can we quickly just recap them and understand in a flow how we are going to reach this point?
In 17th sutra, Patanjali described a samadhi which is including which is having vitarka, means logic.
Yes.
Which is having right logic, which is having thoughts, which is having ego, and bliss at the same time. This is a state of very purified consciousness. My consciousness is pure, completely pure, without a conflict, but still there is a center. I am here.
Yes.
I amness is there. Thoughts are there. It's saying samadhi because the word samadhi means the state of no conflict.
Right.
No problem. So it is a state of not having a problem, which is pure brain, but it is not ultimate. Further, Patanjali is describing, if you continue this process, if you continue your abhyasa, your repeated practice of sampragyat samadhi, then you reach to asampragyat samadhi, in which you are carrying your past life actions traces.
Yes.
In the sutra number 19, Patanjali describes about those people are there in a sampragyat samadhi, they still take birth, even they are merged with existence.
Yes.
And they are disembodied.
Yes.
And today's sutra, Patanjali is telling how to proceed this samadhi, how this samadhi is proceeded.
Yes.
This samadhi is proceeded by trust, courage, willpower, and memory, and the intelligence coming from all the process.
Wow.